exclusive shit. I know that's what brought you here. You want some of that real stuff. So today I'm gonna show you guys some of that real exclusive shit. So this is actually gonna be a version of another sandwich trick. I know I keep dropping these sandwich tricks just like I keep dropping the hose. But this one is a version of a Jay Sankey trick from a while ago that I think has some definite merit. So for this one, we're obviously gonna use the jokers there. That's the yeah. So you're also gonna need not just one card, not two cards, but 3 cards picked. So this is one of those tricks that you definitely have to do for a little bit of a group here. So you have a 4, a 10, and a jack. Now these cards, of course, get mixed and lost into the deck. Remember, 4, 10, and jack. So these cards get lost, you know, in the deck. You know the deal here, right? I don't really have to go through that. If you want, you could give the deck a little bit of a mix. You know, maybe my thumb is a little bit slower on the left side than the right side for some reason. If you get my drift there. So you actually tell them that the jokers are gonna they're gonna help you find these cards. And how are the jokers gonna help you find these cards? Well, believe it or not, you know, even though there's nothing special about these jokers in particular, if you actually touch them together and you say the magic words, see what happens. We actually get a card between the jokers. Now you wouldn't think otherwise, but of course, because you know magic tricks, you know that's actually the jack of clubs. But you know, sorry, jack of diamonds. But here's the thing, that's just one of your cards, and there's 3 of you. So here's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna do some little magic here. If I just give the cards a little bit of one of these okay, sorry, it's magic takes a while. You just twist it. Sorry, twist it, and the okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. One more time. Okay, sorry. You know, the jack is supposed to change into the other cards. That's the trick. It's not working though. Oh man. I guess the jokers turned into the cards. So that's the trick. That right there is a trick. So if you haven't figured it out already, there's a little bit of a switch. I'm going to show you some variations on this because it could get a little bit more complicated if you want to. But this is just the basic version of the trick. So for this, you have 3 cards picked, and you need the jokers. That's the setup. You see that? So you control these cards to the top in whatever way you want. So these cards are going to be on the top of the deck. That's pretty much what you need to do. Now, after that, you load the card, much like the typical sandwich routine. Now, again, I share this load on the channel, but the load that I like using, I just call attention to this joker, say there's nothing tricky about this one. I put it on top. I already have a break there, but I put it on top of the deck. And as I want to rub this joker, but I want to do it with this hand. So what do I got to do? I got to put this joker in this hand, which of course means that I'm sneaking this. As I say, oh, see, there's nothing special about this joker either. But if they touch, you see what happens. There's a card between them. And that's the way I do the sandwich load that is usually done like that. It's more action, but to me it seems a little bit more, there's less contact with the deck supposedly. So whatever point here you show this cards, that there is a card that has appeared between the jokers. Now, I drop this face down on the table for them to turn over, which gives me plenty of opportunity to get a little finger break underneath the second card from the top. So that means I'm going to get a pinky break underneath that second card. Because in a moment, when they turn this card face up, I'm actually going to be switching these jokers for these 2 cards. Now, the way I do this is going to be the standard, I believe, Paul Curry top change. His top change looks like that. I know Danny Ortiz does it a lot, but it's pretty much just done on the offbeat here. So they turn that card over, and while that's happening, all I'm doing is that I'm just putting this card's square of the deck, and my ring finger is just going to come underneath and take those other 2 cards, which they supposedly think are the joker. Now, again, this is being done as that card is being turned over, so you're pretty much gesturing, saying, okay, you know what? There's a card between the jokers. Turn that shit over. Tell me that's your card. And of course, this larger action is when I do that little bit of a switch for those 2 cards. So they turn it over. It's the first card, and now I do a little bit of an optional display here. You don't have to do this if you want to, but I like to do it. I get a break below this card, the top card of the deck, which is a joker, and I say, see, look, the jokers did it. I'm holding 3 cards here. So what I do is that as I'm scoring these 2 cards, I just pick up the joker and gesture towards that card and say, see, that's See, I told you the jokers do exactly what I tell them to do. That's just a little way to kind of reinforce that there is a joker there. Now, of course, I sneak that card out, and now what's in play are the other 2 cards. Now, at this point, you could go in a couple different directions. Now, if you want, you could just go through the premise of trying to convert that card into the other 2 cards, and it's not working. And then, oh man, look, it turns out to be the other cards. But if you want to do a little bit more of a complex version of this trick, then what you could do here is you could actually do a half pass, and that's going to accomplish exactly what you're saying, which is a half pass. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much you're just revolving these bottom 2 cards end for end, and what that does is that it's going to allow you to show a different card in the middle. So let me just go over that in detail. So you're getting a break below the top card in the pack, and you say, look, I'm going to give it a little bit of a magic move here. And as you say that, what you're going to do is that you're going to hold this top card with the right hand. You're going to use these bottom left fingers to revolve that card and square it up with the deck. Now, I like to do a little bit of a revolves here so that kind of covers up whatever X's movement. And if you keep your hands close together as you do it, there's really not much to see. So remember, you've already revealed the 4. And you say, if I give these cards a little bit of a shake, you see that's the second card. Magic. Magic. So as I'm reiterating this point, I am reversing counting these cards so I could do another half pass. So this time it's the 3rd card that shows up instead of the 2nd card. And now you've apparently changed that middle card, that face-up card between the 2 jokers 3 times. So that's kind of a powerful move. Now, at that point, you could just take these cards out. Now, the only thing about this trick is that you really have to weigh it out if you want to show these cards or show the change from the jokers onto these cards. That's really up to you. I've really played around with a couple different ways to present it. I like doing it that way if the environment's right, if I feel like I can get away with some advanced lights. But I find that the other method, that you just pretend like the cards are changing and it doesn't work, and then you show these cards to have changed, I feel like that also has its impact too. So that's kind of a sandwich trick that you could play around with, and it's great because the jokers, not only do the jokers find a selected card, but the jokers actually turn into the selected card. So that's, again, Jay Sankey. It's a version of, I think it's called Magi. So there you go. Use that trick to get all the things lubricated. So there you go. Thank you guys for that. The patron. Thank you for that. You guys are OG. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Give it practice. And I'm going to go figure out how not to ingest pink hem. When I see you again, 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 when I see you again. Let it shine.